Well, you can't start this podcast without this.
What do we need?
Well, we've had all the introductions. We've had all the pomp and circumstance. We've had all the fuss and feathers. But it's time. It's time for Dodger baseball.
Aww. Was that your Vince Scully mic?
Vince Scully Mike, how you guys like that? Hey, thanks a lot, Robert. Robert M., you got my back, bro. Thanks for the hookup.
All right, no onions, no tomatoes.
Right back in you. Right back in you.
Special edition.
Yep, we're doing the
World Series.
World Series edition, and man, we got all this gear on. That means that our team is ready to rumble. Well, my team, but
By marriage,
your team.
my second team.
Los Angeles Dodgers back in the World Series for the second straight year. Woo!
right.
Let's get into it, baby. What do we got?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Their franchise history
this
here.
franchise, man, founded in 1883 in Brooklyn, right? So they were originally in Brooklyn.
A long time
Yes,
ago.
and then they ended up moved to LA, and hey,
Then they opened up Dodger Stadium.
Chavez Ravine, baby.
Third oldest ballpark?
Oldest ballpark in 1962. Just a few years before I was born.
Just a few.
Yeah, I won't get into it, but it's your standard park, big time park.
Okay. And so...
Born and raised in that place.
Okay. And so how did we get here? This was a crazy season.
No, you know what? I'm a truth teller.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell some
I
truth
hope he
right
tells
now.
the truth now, because if not, I'll dime him out.
So as the season started, going into it, like we got into May and June, I told Christina, what did I say?
This is a
Lost season. I said, this is a lost season. We went like 5-16 at one time. I'm like, there is no way. Kershaw's on the DL. Everybody was hurt. Justin Turner hurt going into the season. Seager's out for the year. You're just going, this is a lost season. We've been to the playoffs 5 years in a row, and they're tired. It's just not going to happen.
And so it's a 162 game season.
There are?
But how many games did you need to play?
We had to play 163
Had to play 163 games to figure out who's going to win your division. It was that close.
It was unbelievable because baseball, like she says, 162 games. You think in 162 games, what are the chances that two teams are going to end up tied?
And it happened in both.
It happened in the NL West and in the NL Central.
That's right.
So there were two playoff play-in games, and it was remarkable stuff.
So you beat the Rockies in game 163 to claim your division.
Absolutely, and we ended up finishing 92-71. We had a run differential of 194, which is unheard of. The Dodgers actually had the best run differential in the entire National League, yet they still needed a play-in game to win their division.
So
Crazy
if you beat
stuff.
people, you beat them by a lot.
Yes, but if you lose,
It was 1-1 games.
we blew so many games.
Yes.
Our bullpen did, but now they stepped up. Let's go.
And so then in the playoffs, you had to beat Atlanta
Okay, so we had Atlanta first, right?
and then the Brewers. And
Yeah.
so how'd that go? What's your record there?
Ooh, so we won the first two games in the NLDS pretty handily, and then you're thinking that we're going to sweep Atlanta. We go back to Atlanta, we lose the game, and then we win game 4. So clinch, don't have to play a game 5 in LA, which was great. Went right to Milwaukee, and all hell broke loose.
And so you're
Jesus.
so at home.
Jesus.
At home, you're 4-1, and then you go on the road and you're 3-3.
Yes, and we're dealing with Milwaukee with the wonky, crazy bullpen action. In fact, in game 6. Their starter only pitched
One batter.
5 pitches.
But that had more to do with games.
Craig counts.
It was shady.
They were on some
It was
shady
shady.
stuff. So hey, look, we got through that series. All of a sudden, you're looking up and you're like, "Holy crap, we're back in the World Series."
We're back, baby. And so now let's talk
Shout out to Yasiel Puig.
Oh, hey.
We'll get into the rosters here in a second.
But Puig's my friend.
Puig, your friend, babe.
He's my friend.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so let's get into the roster because, we've watched ton of Dodgers baseball this year, and so we know what's going on with this. We have the 25-man active roster. We don't know if there's going to be any changes for the World Series, but we imagine that it's going to be pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
So who are our highlights, of the folks that carried us to the season include Bellinger and your Justin Turner once he got off the DL list. I think that turned around your season.
Absolutely.
And
Justin Turner's the heart and soul of the Dodgers, okay? As he goes, the team goes, okay? He needs to be healthy and going.
yes, and then you picked up the Max Muncy, and he sort of
Max Muncy was on the streets.
and he had like a stretch where he had 30 plus home runs this year.
37 home runs, man. This guy was rolling.
And then comes the All-Star break and you acquire Machado, who, I'm going to tell you right now, prior to him becoming a Dodger,
More truth.
Jed would always say, Manny Machado, he's my favorite player. And I'm just like, dude, he plays in the American League on, what was he with the Orioles?
Yes, love the way that he plays the game. Some people call some of the things that he does dirty, but I think that he is a baller and he comes through in the clutch. And I'm going to give you a quick example.
Okay.
Game 7, he had went 0 for 4 the night before.
Yeah.
He comes back on a 3-2 pitch and he bunts. He sacrifices himself and bunts, legs it out after they said that he didn't hustle.
Yeah.
And then Belly comes up afterwards and hits a 2-run bomb. Game over, actually.
Yes, and Bellinger is another one of your infielders that is a big contributor.
Huge contributor. He plays first base, but he has sacrificed himself and moved to center field or right field and made some huge plays.
Yes, because you've also acquired one of my true loves, David Freese.
So David Freese has literally been an infusion in the Dodgers locker room and in the dugout and actually producing on the field. In Game 6, which the Dodgers lost, he provided all the offense for the Dodgers.
And so in your outfield, you have just wonderful people out there. You brought Matt Kemp back.
Matt Kemp came back.
And he did well in the beginning and really got you going through some of your bad times. You have Yasiel Puig, who we love.
Yasiel Puig in Game 7 broke the game open with a 3-run bomb to help us win Game 7.
Jock Peterson.
Kike
Hernandez.
Kike Hernandez, andale, papi. And then we have Chris Taylor. I mean, it just goes on and on. And
Now, I will say this. Your catchers. You have a little bit of consternation there with...
okay, so we have Austin Barnes, and then we have Yasmani Grandal. Yasmani Grandal is making $10 million a year, and he is a switch-hitting catcher, which is really, really rare in baseball.
But during the playoffs, he's committed a few too many errors and has really struggled.
It's cost us games, and in the one blow-up game that Kershaw had, which was Game 1 of the NLCS, it was Yasmani catching him, which usually all throughout the season, who caught him?
Austin Barnes.
Yes. So it was the thing with managing and analytics, which was tough.
Yeah, and so Barnes has been playing lately, and Grandal's been coming off the bench. So
Yes.
that's what I think. So let's get into your pitchers, because that's where we're going to win or lose this series.
All right. So look. So first of all, Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, let's talk to him. Hi, my name's Clayton Kershaw.
This
Sign
guy-
in order.
And MVP at the same year.
Yeah.
So this guy right here came in the ninth inning in the NLCS. 15 pitches, closes out Milwaukee. Will now turn around and pitch Game 1 of the World Series. Let's talk about him. Everybody said,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's such a bust. He's such a bust in the playoffs. He's such a bust." Hey, I'm going to tell you guys. You guys need to pull this thing up. This is called Baseball Reference. Right here, if you pull up postseason, I have this highlighted here. 2013, 2014. He was playing against your St. Louis Cardinals, and what was his record?
We took him to the return. He lost 2 games in both of those years.
He not lost 2 games. He was 0 for 2. He was 0-2.
0-2.
0-2 with a 6.3 ERA in 2013 and a 7.82 ERA in 2014. and let's get this straight.
Yes.
This wasn't about him just getting rocked. This was about him getting rocked at a particular time. Talk about it.
What do you mean by a particular time?
There was no bridge to get to Kenley Jansen.
Right.
So when there's no bridge, Kershaw was always forced to pitch an extra inning to try to bridge it.
Yeah, so when Kershaw would come out to pitch, it was demanded of him that he go 8 innings, and if he couldn't go a full 9 innings, that's what they really wanted from him.
Yeah, but
and that's hard.
Well, I disagree with you. I think they wanted the 8th, but they couldn't get to the bridge to get to Jansen.
No, my point was a lot of other pitchers, they expect you to only go 6.
For sure.
But they demand more out of Kershaw.
Yes, which will be demanded in this series too.
Right.
But if you take that away, if you look at 2015, 16, 17, and 18, he only has 2 losses.
Yeah. And so then you have your other pitchers, Rich Hill, you're going to rely on him. And then we have Walker Buehler, who has done phenomenal.
24-year-old who is throwing gas and went through the Brewers lineup like a man twice in the NLCS.
And we have Ryu, who's healthy.
Yep, and will most likely be starting Game 2. He did not pitch well in Game 6. I think there was a problem with tipping pitches, but we'll see what happens.
And then for some of these bridges, you have Pedro Baez.
Yes.
He takes 1,000 years to pitch, but that's okay. We have
Ferguson, Floro.
Matson and Maeda, who used to be a starter.
Who used to be a big-time starter for us.
Alex Wood, Julio Herrera. He's young.
Yeah, Urias is young, and he's another one who came out in game 7 and gave us an inning. Well, with the help of Chris Taylor making a spectacular catch.
So that's kind of where we are, and we'll come back in a minute here and talk about
The matchup, the World Series matchup.
The World Series.
Let's get it on, baby.
Yeah, let's carry this on a little further. So I have to figure out this button here.
Well, listen. Here's the thing.
All right, now we're gonna.
It's over.